Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 24 CCC Aura 1272, case of style of state of Texas versus Ty DeMarcus Thompson. Mr. Thompson, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Thompson, do you swear, affirm, and tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Thompson?
I'm doing good.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Thompson, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. And Mr. Macon, do you waive a record in Mr. Thompson's case?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive the record.
Mr. Thompson, in this information, it alleges that you, DeMarcus Thompson, was charged with a Class A misdemeanor driving while intoxicated with alcohol concentration of 0.15 more. State, are you abandoning the enhancement paragraph?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Thompson, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph in this case. And what that basically means is that instead of being charged with a Class A misdemeanor, you'll be charged with a lesser included offense, which is a Class B misdemeanor. You understand that?
Yes.
Now, to the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you do not wish to fight or contest the charge? You have to do the DWI, the box below the B. And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty? Okay. Now, Mr. Thompson, I also have a document before me that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. This document is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are 2 sets of initials. One set is the initials of your attorney, and then there's TT, which are your initials. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature? And on the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. You recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. You understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have before me on paper a document that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? Mr. Thompson, before you signed and initial all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Macon, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
0 for States 1.
Any objections?
No objection, States 1.
No objection. States Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macon, you've advised and counseled Mr. Thompson. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Thompson, your attorney, Mr. Macon, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
The agreement in this case is to 15 months deferred probation with a $500 fine, 60 hours community service, the installation, maintaining of an airline device, and DWI standard conditions of probation.
What is this court cost?
$392.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, the state is offering that you serve 15 months deferred adjudicated probation. During the 15-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $392. You'll be required to pay a DWI conviction fee, fine of $100. You'll be required to pay probation fee of $60 a month, your analysis fee of $15 a month, reimbursement fee of $15. You'll also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $152 a month. Will you be able to pay the $152 each month? You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, attend a completed DW education class, have an alcohol assessment, and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of DW probation. Mr. Thompson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
Do you think the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Thompson, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Thompson, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for a non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney, Mr. Macon, about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Now, you will stand in front of the court coordinator, follow the directions of the bailiff. Once you finish following the directions of the bailiff, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank
We're gonna do Queens next. Which one is that? Is that Randolph? Huh? I just sent it to you. I just signed it. What docket is here? Kenny Randolph? This is cause number 24 CCCR 1446, case of style of state of Texas versus Kenneth Randolph Jr. Mr. Randolph, is that your full name?
you.
Mr. Randolph, would you please raise your right hand? Randolph, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Randolph, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Randolph? You doing good? That's good. Now, Mr. Randolph, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Marvin Provo, Attorney Provo. How are you doing? And Ms. Provo, do you waive a record in Mr. Randolph's case? Mr. Randolph, I have before me a document on my computer that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Kenny Randolph, on or about May 15th of 2024, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class B misdemeanor offense of criminal trespass. Mr. Randolph, you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
No comment.
Are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Randolph, I also have before me a document on my tablet that's titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of the same document, there's a set of initials, KR on the line next to the box that's checked, Nola Contingent. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant? At the On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
And I also have a document that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Randolph, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes,
to the best of your knowledge? Mr. Randolph, are you a citizen of the United States?
State Upper States one.
Any objections? No objection. States exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Ms. Provo, you advised and counseled Mr. Randolph. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? And Mr. Randolph, your attorney, Ms. Provo, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with her representation? Has she provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
yes, sir.
Mr. Randolph, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargaining agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
In exchange for defendant's plea, the state's offering 56 days in the Jefferson County Jail and credit for 56 days to tax and retire.
Mr. Randolph, the state is offering that you serve 56 days in Jefferson County Jail. You've already served 56 days in Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already served. The court costs in this case will be taxed and retired. That simply means that you will not be required to pay the court costs because the time that you have spent in jail has already paid off the court costs. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. Mr. Randolph, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Randolph, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Randolph, you step in front. I'll stand next to the bailiff. Follow her direction. Once you finish following the bailiff direction, you can follow the bailiff and you have a blessed day. Celso, thank you. Celso, Umberto, Cruz, and Ms. Provo, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Mr. Cruz is not speaking, there's our translator.
Okay.
Okay. Printed out.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is in session and calls number 24 CCCR 0400. Case is style in state of Texas versus Celso Umberto Cruz. Mr. Cruz is present in court. Mr. Cruz speaks Spanish. His attorney, Mr. Charles Rojas, is fluent in Spanish and English. He will interpret for Mr. Cruz. Mr. Rojas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rojas, do you swear to interpret English to Spanish and Spanish to English to help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
You may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Rojas?
Doing well, Judge. Thank you.
That's good. Mr. Rojas, ask Mr. Cruz if his full name is Celso Umberto Cruz.
You want to swear me first?
Yeah.
You want to allow it?
Mr. Cruz, would you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God? Okay, Mr. Cruz, put your hand out. Is your name Celso Umberto Cruz?
Yes.
How are you doing, Mr. Cruz?
Good.
Good? All right. Now, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record of Mr. Cruz case?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Cruz, I have before me on my computer a document that is titled Information Sheet. This information sheet was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information sheet, it alleges that you, Celso Umberto Cruz, on or about December 5th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the class a misdemeanor offense of fail to identify fugitive with intent to give false information. Mr. Cruz, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty. Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes, voluntarily.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz, I also have before me a document that is in English that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, CC, that are on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
On the next page, or the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes.
Now, also on the, going back to State's Exhibit number 1, on page 1, there's a set of initials at the bottom of this document, below a paragraph that is titled citizenship. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
Now, the paragraph that your initials are under states as follows. If you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand this statement?
Yes.
And do you still want to go forward with your plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
I also have a document that's titled in English, for all foreign nationals except those from mandatory notification countries. Mr. Umberto Cruz, or Celso Umberto Cruz, are you a citizen of the United States?
No.
What country are you from?
Guatemala.
Guatemala?
I don't believe that's a mandatory job.
Now, Mr. Cruz, I have before me a document that is titled English Statement 1 for all foreign nationals except those from mandatory notification countries. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
Is this your signature on the line that's titled signature?
Yes.
Now, there's one box there's one word that's circled. The word that circled says no. And there's a circle below the statement that reads as follows. Do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time? And you circle no, is that correct?
Yes.
I also have another document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Cruz, before you sign all of the documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Rojas, go over all of these documents with you in Spanish?
Yes,
And did you understand everything that your attorney went over?
yes,
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes,
Yeah, for stage one.
no objection.
Okay, no objections, states exhibit number one, will be admitted. Mr. Rojas, you've advised and counseled Mr. Cruz. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Now, did you also advise him of the consequences of him pleading guilty or no contest to this charge by virtue of him not being a U.S. citizen? And that's in relations to the case of Padilla versus Kentucky?
I did, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, your attorney, Mr. Rojas, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes,
Okay. Mr. Cruz, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is the agreement?
The agreement in this case is $300 fine plus court costs. The defendant has 2 days in jail that's being credited towards court costs.
What is the court cost?
277.
277. 577. That, you said 2 days credit?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, the state is offering that you pay a fine of $300 plus court costs of $277, which comes to a total of $577. You will be given credit of 2 days toward your fine and court costs. You will be given credit at $100 per day. So that simply means that we will subtract $200 from the $577, which leaves a balance of $377. Will you be able to pay the $377 today?
yes,
Okay. Now, do you understand the state's offer?
yes.
You think that is fair and just?
Yes,
And do you accept the state's offer?
yes,
Okay, Mr. Cruz, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Cruz, this will conclude your case. You will stand in front of the court coordinator, follow the directions of the court's bailiff, and then you will go downstairs. You gonna go downstairs with
yes,
it?
sir, I'll go with it.
With your attorney to pay off the balance, and you return with your receipt. Mr. Kimmler, Catherine Lachey Strange. Ms. Strange, your full name is Catherine Lachey Strange?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Ms. Strange?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Strange, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney, Wright Kimler. Attorney Kimler, how are you doing?
Well, thank you.
That's good. Mr. Kimler, what is your announcement in this Strange case?
Ready?
It's on the pretrial.
Sure.
We gonna set it for
Okay.
trial?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're gonna reset. Give us the trial date.
Be useful. Do it before your next day.
So how do I get to pay him?
You gotta do it through the DA. I'll just have a seat. I'll get it with the DA. I'll let you know before you leave.
So you want me to set it for trial or
Set-
keep it
set
on
it for-
pre-trial?
Set it for trial, and then if she pays before then, they can dismiss it.
Cause I have the money, so I just gonna get it over with.
All right, we'll just reset her for pretrial, see if she can pay the
She
restitution.
says she got it now. They might be able to just, so y'all have an offer of like whatever?
Not at this point, Your Honor. I've been trying to get in contact with, complaint witness. He has called me back. It's just sort of that we haven't like caught each other at the.
Okay, so you want me to just, then you say just set it for pretrial?
Mr. Hubel has an amount on the restitution, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah, we need to get an amount, so leave it on the pretrial, I guess.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it on the give us a reset date? Okay, so we're gonna, reset it to February 17th. Now, basically what we're doing, apparently the state has to get the correct amount of the restitution. Gonna get he's gonna give that to your attorney, let him know, and your attorney is gonna pass it on to you.
Okay.
Now, I think if the restitution is gonna be made, the restitution it will have to be made to the DA's office,
In the form of a.
not directly to this, whoever the person is.
Definitely.
You understand?
And that's the amount that y'all.
They'll get it to the complaining witness.
It has to come from, I'll let you know, then let you know. You can do it before the next day.
Yeah, if you do it before the next court date,
I'll get it
that-
moved up. Or get.
the case will be dismissed. If that's the agreement, I don't know. Okay, so we're gonna reset it to February 17th, 2025, pay restitution. Okay. Okay. And we have Mr. He's been on Zoom. Is that yours? And your other cases, Mr. Kilmer, you like to keep them on the trial docket?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're
Mr.
gonna,
Marino wasn't present. I think they notified the court.
They
he
say
had
he's sick.
Positive COVID.
COVID, yeah.
But the rest of them,
Yeah, everybody else, so that those will be, continued on the trial docket. Okay,
to what day, you know?
she's gonna give you a date. And let's see, who is the attorney for, Mr. 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 Shear? John Michael Shear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Shear, you represented in your case by attorney Ben Castleman Flory. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, we contacted Mr. Flory's office. They said that they had problems contacting you.
I haven't heard from him today, sir. I heard from Mr. Flory last night. Let me see here. I have a text message from him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, now, Mr. Shear,
Yes,
we
sir.
contacted your attorney's office, and they've been unable to contact, they've been unable to contact your attorney. And that's the information that we get from your attorney's office.
Okay.
Okay, so your case has to be reset. Let's reset him a week. Okay, we're gonna reset you 1 week. You stay in contact with your attorney and we'll send him the reset.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Okay, so you're free to go and you have a blessed, what's that date? Hold on a minute. Yeah, he's on page 3 of the announcement document. Okay, it's gonna be reset to, when is the holiday? Okay, all right, so, the case is reset to January 13th, 2025 at 9 AM. Stay in contact with your attorney, your bondsman, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And this will conclude the calling of the court's dockets on today's date of January 6th of 2025. It was the trial docket, the motion to revoke, the pretrial conference docket and the announcement docket. All three dockets were scheduled on today's date in County Court at Law Number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a blessed day.